Hey guys, I'm Heintje, and in the years I've been doing this YouTube thing now, I've never made a video about bikepark Willingen. It's not that I've never been there, but the last time was at least 8 years ago, long before I started recording my rides. Time to get back there and check out bikepark Willingen, shall we? Wait, before I roll the intro, I have an announcement to make. I've ordered a new batch of stickers, so if you find me on the trails, come say hi and I'll give you a sticker. A lot has changed since the last time I've been here. A lot. First of all, back then the only way up the mountain was the gondola. Now the main way is a chairlift, and the gondola is only useful after you've done the downhill line. Speaking of lines, there are a lot more lines now, so I started by checking out the easy lines. Flow Trail was the first one, the one you're watching now. This one was boring, although that might be a me problem. First of all, I had to get used to the grid on the inside of the corners. I'm always afraid to slide out on those tiny marbles, therefore riding a bit careful, not fully enjoying the ride. Second issue is, I brought my downhill bike. No matter how amazing the bike is, it needs a certain speed to come alive. Till then, let's say, too much suspension is a thing. Then to the line itself, it hasn't any real features, just corners and rollers. Nothing to really challenge or reward you. Sure, this might be nice for beginners who want to get a feel of bike park riding. That brings me to the next trail, Flow Country, another easy trail, only this one does have jumps. You can easily roll them, but if you want to step up your game a bit, you can start getting some air. Now the park also has a green, assumably even easier line. This makes me question whether the park has too many easy lines, or better worded, too many similar lines. Anyway, it's a major improvement since last time I was here. Back then you had two options, the freeride line and the downhill line. The freeride line I don't really remember. I know it had some wooden features on the side, but that's all I can remember. The downhill line however, that one I do remember. I know you really had to pre-ride it and scout your lines. Some features might be rollable on one side and a big gap jump on the other. And there's no way to see it before it's too late. The Flow Country line was a good way to warm up. It was quite a bit of work to clear all the small jumps on the heavy bike. Time to move on a line more suited for the bike. Time to check out the Enduro Trail. Again, the simple, efficient yet boring naming of the trails in German bike parks. This trail is new for me, so I had to scout it out first, although I more or less just blindly followed my friend. That's the run you're watching now, the scouting run. I did more runs of this trail and they were way more impressive, trust me. Unfortunately, I had some issues with the batteries of my GoPro this day, so I couldn't record everything. The batteries are 2.5 years old now, in combination with a relative cold day meant they ran out way faster than normal. Even though this line is rated black, I don't think it's that impossible. It's pretty rough, but not very steep. Even at lower speeds, it's doable. However, there's definitely a benefit of going a bit faster. With some momentum, you'll just go so much smoother over roots and rocks. Up to a certain point. Eventually, you'll reach the speed where everything gets tricky. By then, you'll have to jump some sections. Riding around an obstacle isn't feasible anymore. That brings me to the next point. The line is very narrow. I'm not sure this is a good or a bad thing. It limits the line choice. If any, you'll basically have two options. The slow one, going around an obstacle, or the fast one, going straight over it. On the other hand, the narrow line gives you the feeling of going fast. And as I said in my last video, the lack of line choice makes the trail so much easier. Anyway, with the footage I have, I can't really show this line the way it deserves. I guess I have to come back here soon and record some proper runs of this line. Now it's time to check out the downhill trail. All the line choice the Enduro Trail might lack, this one will make up for it. Like I said before, on this line it's really important to check it out first. Just like on the Enduro Trail, here you have so many sections that may or may not work depending on your speed. With the difference here that you can't look over the feature, so you have to know what's behind them. Oh, and the consequences are way bigger here. Unfortunately, this is where one of my GoPro batteries died, so I can't show the top section of this run. Continuing at the middle section. This is where it gets steep, with a lot of rocks that you can jump or at least drop. I hope it shows how easy you can make a mistake here. Going a bit offline and you're in trouble. You can even go too fast and not be able to control your speed afterwards. So for now I was just rolling past everything, getting an idea of what lines might be possible in the future. Until we got to the so-called road gap. Even though this one was way out of my league 8 years ago, I could still remember it. Now I'm more than capable enough of clearing this one. I just looked at it to be sure and went for it. I felt like I couldn't get much speed, but I also didn't need much, so everything went fine, getting safely to the bottom section.
Nice!
This section is much simpler in order of line choice. You only have a few options and they don't interact that much, however there are a couple of big doubles here. Doubles that you have to know are there and that you have to fully commit for. Again, I played it on safe, not even going for this drop, simply because I didn't know what's behind it. Oké, dit zijn wel serieuze dubbels. Later on the day I went for another run on the downhill line. I've been saving one GoPro battery so I can record it, with the idea of study the footage at home for my next visit. So that's the run you're watching now. I was still pretty careful. I think I'm pretty good at memorizing trails, just not after one run. I think I need at least 3 or 4 runs. And then this happened.
Ow.
Somehow I crashed in a way I never thought I would crash. Sure, I've seen a lot of fails of people going way too slow over drop or jump, but I thought I'm better than that. First of all, I scout most features first. Hell, that's what I was doing here. Then, when I go for it, I know at what point I can't stop anymore and have to commit. That's what saved me at the road gap in Family Bear. Check out this video if you don't know what I'm talking about. So how did I crash here? Looking at the jump, it's one I'm 100% sure I can do. If you commit, by the time your back wheel leaves the lip, your front wheel is already over the gap. Before I go over the footage and tell you what went wrong, I want to ask you to post in the comments what you think was the issue here. To give you some time, let me first continue the trail. Yes, I could continue after this crash. I guess I got lucky once again. Although I did hit my head on the ground, it was at a relative slow speed. Whether or not it was the smart thing to do, I don't know. I did suffer a minor concussion, according to my own judgment, but I had to get down somehow. Even though I lost a bit of focus, I even went for the road gap. Have you posted your analysis of the crash yet? Good. Time to tell you what I think that happened. Like I said, I should never crash on a feature like this, at least not in this way. Add to that the fact that I was doing a scouting run and had no intention of hitting any big features, it even makes less sense to me. Looking back at the footage, it all became very clear. Yes, I know I had a weird or wrong line, but it doesn't explain the crash. I could have easily stopped before the end of the lip. I even think that if I hadn't braked, I could have made the jump. Now, to explain what went wrong, I have to pause the video at this frame. At this point, it looks like the grass of the landing is an extension of the lip. That's what got me. With that idea I continued, thinking I had 1 extra meter to stop. Then I looked at the ground for the turn, and when I turned my attention back to the rock, it was too late. My front wheel was over the lip and going down into a gap. I'm not sure what I expected this feature to be. Maybe some sort of rock garden, or maybe a 20 cm drop to flat. Anyway, I hadn't read it as a gap jump. At this point there was nothing I could do, although maybe that was a good thing. Not saying landing on my head was good, but at least now I didn't break my wrist or collarbone. After this crash and the rest of the run, I felt good enough to go back up the mountain. I had a bit of a rest and realized it would be better to call it a day. Instead of filming one more run of the Enduro line, I did the somewhat smart thing and opted for the Freeride line to get back to the car. Another trail I've ridden multiple times this day already, so I knew what to expect. Loads of simple jumps. Like I said, I didn't remember anything about this line, but now it's a fun line. There's decent sized jumps and a great flow. One of my friends broke his derailleur and gone chainless. Up until the very end, this whole trail is very doable without pedaling. It even has some gap jumps. These are all wooden ramps and they're all pretty easy. If you can get over the mental aspect of gap jumps and don't have any issues with the tables on this line, I'm sure you'll be fine on these gaps. Anyway, time to conclude the video. Bikepark Willingen. I can't say which I prefer more, Willingen or Winterberg. I guess they both provide the same kind of experience. If you prefer jumping, I guess you'll be better off in Winterberg, but let's be honest, for jumping, Green Hill is still the best option in the region. The one thing that Willingen has going for it is in my opinion the downhill line, a proper gnarly line that offers a real challenge, but you have to put in the time to learn the lines that works for the speed you're going. Something that's still on my to-do list. I'm gonna do my best to get back here later this year and see if I can stitch the run together. Please hit that subscribe button to get notified when I publish that video. And while I'm at it, also properly record the Enduro line. A line that feels like a real Enduro line, not a bike park line, but with the lift to get to the top. It's a line where you can really improve yourself in just a couple of runs. The flowy lines are also fun, depending on your level of course. From beginner to intermediate, this is the place to be. Long lines with a ton of jumps, perfect to practice flying. On a personal note, I had a fun day that unfortunately ended early, with a silly and unnecessary crash. But we all know that's part of the sport. With that, I've come to the end of the video. Again, thank you so very much for watching. I hope to see you back for my next video. As always, houdoe!